before we can get to game 3, we've got to do game 2. We're into the pick ban already. V5 going to be on our blue side here, banning the Elise and banning the Nidalee, which I don't know about you, Dag. That makes me think that they don't want Renekton, but they also don't want to set up a Renekton on the other team.
Well, this is also the same bans we saw in the last game. Xiaopeng has traditionally always been a really strong Nidalee player, so not surprised to see them take that away, but the Elise is still a strange one to me. Xiaopeng hasn't played it, but certainly fits into his wheelhouse of these early game champions like that Rek'Sai as well, which Xiaopeng is renowned for.
Well, the Kai'Sa has made it through the ban phase, and that means it is an instant first pick. It's been such a ridiculously strong AD carry in the current meta. Over towards TT though, as you rightly said, things like the Talia could be available, even things like the Olaf. There's a lot of strong junglers right now that have made it through the bans.
Yeah, and it nearly feels like Xiaopeng is saying, hang on, no, just leave the jungle to the second rotation, because that means that then I can play what I want. But Olaf was left open in this rotation, and he's going to grab that. This is a very strong jungler on the current patch, but also specifically for Xiaopeng as well. And I like that you're kind of getting a nice, strong early game for TT that they can look to play around. But Mo, okay.
Right, here we go. Mo brings out the Yone. This is the kind of spice that we need when V5 are 1-0 down. Over to the side of TT, though, what are they going to answer with? Because this Renekton is already a flex pick. I think the answer is going to be their AD carry. Wouldn't be surprised to see the Xayah. This is the standard pick into the Kai'Sa.
Yeah, it's standard in towards the Kai'Sa, but it's also very good against the likes of this Yone because you've got that self-peel opportunity. It's the third time we've seen Mole pick up this Yone. He's looked very, very strong on it. But now you've got to, as V5, start to set up this Yone for success. Ban away some of the mid-lane champions that he struggles with. And then, especially against someone like Twyla, who we have talked about not having the biggest champion pool, you can now put the pressure onto TT.
Well, ban's coming on through. A set is removed. You'd assume from PB God then. The Galio is the answer. So a lot of these supports have been taken off the board with the Leona already gone as well. Wouldn't be too surprised to see something like the Alistar ban, and maybe we just completely pinch the support pools and see something different today.
Yeah, I imagine the Alistar is going to be what TT are trying to lock in first here. Does well against the likes of both the Lilia and that Yone, just keeping them locked up in place for people to deal with. Also, a lot of pressure on towards Kai'Sa in lane, so I'd love to see the Alistar picked up for TT on this first rotation here. Whereas when we click over towards the V5 side, you're still looking at a top laner for Audi. Now, Audi looked exceptional on the Gnar, but the Gnar was that last ban away from TT. So now from Audi, the big question mark is what does he go back towards? Maybe something like the Gragas, provide just a bunch more CC in these team fights, and a front line for the likes of Weiwei, Mole, and Trigger to play around.
That's a Nico lock-in right there. I think that's going towards Twyla in the mid lane. But maybe an outside possibility that's a support Nico, but I would expect it to be mid.
It's mid lane. Yeah, it's actually a counter towards the Yone as well, because every time Yone tries to dash in, it's like, okay, cool, I can get these tangle barbs, get a lot of damage on towards this Yone in the lane. But when that Yone goes in aggressive with that ultimate, you pop your own ultimate as Nico, you get this big shield, you get that CC, and allows you to walk away safely from this Yone. So nice call here from TT, but certainly gives a little bit more appeal towards the likes of Xayah in this backline, and also offering a bit of CC to set up the likes of Xiaopeng and Chalitza in these fights.
Gragas comes through for Audi. We've got that Alistar in the bottom side as well. So that is the composition locked in for V5. And now TT just have to go for their support pick. What do they want to go with against this Alistar? And it's Rakan is the answer.
I'm kind of surprised, though, coming back to this Nico, that Nico was locked in ahead of the Alistar. Like, Rakan is kind of just a weaker Alistar on the current meta because of the strength of all these tank items. So I think I would have preferred to see them go towards that Alistar, deny that away from V5, and then set themselves up for a strong bot lane. But either way, it is going to be that Xayah Rakan can still do reasonably well here. When we get towards those team fights, Rakan needs to be very careful because there's a lot of squishy he's very squishy, and there's a lot of CC on this V5 side that can lock him up.
Yeah, perhaps thinking as well that they would be happy if this Rakan is taken away to deny Xayah Rakan. But if they go for the Alistar, then you've got Xayah Rakan. So maybe just thinking of it as win-win. But yeah, the Nico came in first regardless. And we have our compositions down. TT wanting back-to-back wins here, wanting to get themselves their first point in the scoreboard to prove Dagda's predictions of their split wrong. Whether they will get it or not is a different question, because V5 are coming in with a totally different roster now, with Audi in the top side, with Trigger in the AD carry position. These substitutions might be the answer that they need to get themselves a win in this series and push it to 3 games.
Well, we'll have to see some early aggression coming out from Weiwei if you want to see that. Now, is opting in towards the Lilia, does have the ability to play around this top side if you would like to, but certainly I think we'll see him being a bit more proactive down towards this bottom side of the map, towards this mid lane, trying to see if they can get Mole up and running and transition a lot of that damage in towards that bottom lane. Whereas when we look towards CP, I see the Olaf, I see Renekton, you can't play top side, but certainly these early dragons are where TT are going to look to hang their hat.
We'll keep our eyes on those early dragons as we head into game number 2 here, but I'm not going to lie, Dagda, my eyes aren't really on the dragons. My eyes are on this mid lane. We've got Yone versus Nico, Mole versus Twilight. And Mole, he's an absolute playmaker. If you don't know the LPL that well, you don't know some of these mid laners, Mole has been making a name for himself over the last sort of 12 months. And now locking in this Yone blind as well. We'll see if he can make things happen for his team.
It will need some attention though from Weiwei, just to make sure that he's able to trade effectively in lane, making sure that he's able to push just the lane in favor of himself. Because honestly, the worst thing if you're trying to play Yone and you've got no vision control, you can't go aggressive because there's a chance the Xiaopeng is just going to run into lane on top of you, especially with the likes of a Nico, where she's got a decent amount of lockup with the tango barbs and everything else that she provides. You need to make sure that you have an understanding as to what is happening on the map and abusing those moments where you can play aggressive as this Yone.
Nico exceptionally good at kind of ruining those potential all-ins though with the tangle barbs. He can keep people at arm's length. As Weiwei going to be starting on the bottom side of the map, but Xiaopeng starts on the top half of the map, maybe pathing towards that bottom lane instead.
Which I am surprised by. Oftentimes when I see... Oh, hang on, top side?
Okay, no. He's backing up.
Yeah. The big thing about Olaf is that you tend to go for this bot side clear into your top side, maybe make a play top, but off your reset then, it means your bottom camps are respawning just in time for you to go for this early dragon. This way around though, it means it'll be a little bit delayed on Xiaopeng going for some sort of early dragon play. So I imagine instead, in the long run, we'll see him clear this top and then look towards off of that first reset, a play in this bottom side, rather than just running towards these early dragon objectives.
Seeing the bottom side of the map, Samdi and Teen are shoving this under as hard as they can right here as the third wave. Going to be that cannon wave, see if they can get it underneath the tower. And Zyra Khan as a lane as well. Talk me through the kind of strength in this duo, because you know, people always talk about Zyra Khan, how it's a good combo and you do get some bonuses on your abilities, but does it make Zyra stronger earlier? Do you still just want to wait until you get those 3 items?
Well, definitely it makes you stronger in the lane phase for the first couple of levels, because you're able to... The difference when you're playing with a Rakan as a Zai is you'll oftentimes start W, because you give both the attack speed and the extra damage over towards the Rakan as well, so you can get a lot of power off the level 1. Whoa, Alistair, where'd you go?
What?
Where's Alistair?
He has ascended! PP God has reunited with the heavens! What just happened?
And in the second game of the series, PP God rose and keep rising and never stopped rising until the third game where he returned.
What is going on? Alright, well, we have some aggressive trade. Xiaopeng now moving towards the mid lane. Root comes through from Twilight. Nicely done. Mole ignited, burning down. One more auto from Xiaopeng will do the trick. But Mole jumps away. The seal fake comes on through. There's a nice little cue from Twilight. That's going to be a first blood for TT. Weiwei wants to answer. Cannot go for a 2v1.
This is exactly what we were talking about, though. Weiwei needed to get some vision control down so Mo can play aggressive on this Yone. Gets caught out. Xiaopeng makes a brilliant play there to get this Yone set behind. And now they can turn it in towards deep vision here to make sure they spot out Weiwei and stop this Lilia from interacting with the map.
Yeah, it makes it difficult when Wei can't just get into these lanes and can't find his way into some of these skirmishes, as we see PP got knocked up, only just to shoulder height this time. And Teen will walk away. The Ignite ticking, but it won't quite be enough to finish off a kill. But again, these 2v2s getting really aggressive on the bot side, and that's perfect for Wei, who's going to move on in here. Teen still has Flash available. The Glitter Quill will keep him healthy, but Sam D has just been abandoned by Rakan. The lovers duo ain't feeling so lovery.
And a big mistake from the bot lane here. You're looking at that mini-map. You could see they had a ward on the Raptors. So you know that Wei is going to be entering back onto this bot side to clear out his jungle. And they just don't respect it. But Chalitza top side.
Yeah, this 1v1 is getting real intense. They have a lot of sustain each. But they also have a lot of burst to try and finish these kills off. Chalitza just going to shove this under the tower.
Yeah, but coming back to that bot lane, like, you know that Wei is going to be there. There's no reason for you to stick around after you've already shoved that wave in. Just back, spend the gold that you have, and kind of take it as a luxury that you managed to get at least something on the health bar PP God. But unfortunately, giving over that kill now, easing a lot of pressure towards Trigger too, and giving him that kill accelerates this Kai'Sa towards that Q evolve, which is where she starts to have a little bit more control in this bottom lane over this Xayah and Rakan duo.
Well, Xiaopeng going to start off on these Drakes. This is what we talked about last game with the Udyr. It's a similar story with the Olaf, but Xiaopeng doing it way earlier on into the game and actually getting that Drake win condition snowball.
Yeah, and that's the big difference here from that last game, is that we never really saw it from Wei. And now, okay, Xiaopeng gets that early dragon. Now you're starting this ticking clock where, okay, when we look at the 1 item to 2 item spikes on TT, Gore Drinkers for Xiaopeng, Chalitza, you're going to have... I'm actually not 100% certain onto what the Nico items are. I've kind of seen a bit of a mix of stuff, but I haven't been keeping up to date fully with her build paths. But certainly either way, she's a 2 item spiking champion, so we'll still have a lot of pressure in towards these, you know, 2nd to 3rd dragons.
I'm going to say it's a rocket belt, mate. Based on...
yeah.
Well, just based on, I feel like saying that. I feel like that is good because you're ultimate, and that's where I'm at. But that's not based on research and analysis. That's based on what I reckon.
I'm not sure. I think she might still go the Everfrost, I think it's called. I think she still goes that build. Yeah. Yeah, the slow
it's
one,
called Everfrost,
basically. Yeah. I think
I didn't realize you were waiting for confirmation there. Sorry.
I was trying to remember in my head, because I've basically seen nobody build that item, and I think Nico might be the only one who still does, but I'm not 100%.
You see some Cassidans going for it as well, but yeah, it's definitely a
niche,
less desirable mythic item. 500 gold lead though to start the game off for TT. So they got that first Drake, and I'm trying to figure out where that 500 gold lead has come from. To be quite honest, I guess it's just the jungle CS difference, and that's kind of it on the board at this point in the game. Teen's going to get a heal over. Wei wants a repeat of what happened earlier on in this bottom side. He's level 6, will be able to get himself to sleep. And that is going to be a guaranteed kill onto PP God. Now a TP being channeled. This is Audi. No, it's Chalitza, sorry, coming into the fray. But he's too late. And Audi's like, oh, free top lane? Sure, I'll take that.
Yeah, it does mean, though, that Xiaopeng is going to go towards this Rift Tower on the top side, try and answer on the cross-map play, but Lilia might have snuffed this out as Wei's run right the way upriver and is now grouping with Audi to see if they can make something happen.
Twyla is here to try and contest onto the Herald, or to try and help out on the Herald, sorry. Xiaopeng grabs it. Maul's just going to recall, drops a ward before he leaves. The squad is grouping up here in the mid lane. Teen, level 5, so doesn't have the quickness, but I don't think they find an opportunity to go in.
Yeah, honestly, it's nice to see that V5 are getting some kills on the bottom side, but I much prefer this objective focus from TT. You've got that early dragon that you can look to then power through, as we talked about when you hit those 1st and 2nd items. And as well, now you picked up the Rift Herald, so trying to snowball some of these lanes is going to work out great, whether you want to give a little bit more control towards Sam D in the bot side, or if you want to try and crack open this mid lane turret and make it really difficult for Mole to really have an impact in towards this mid lane.
I'm just going to clear the wave away and head back to base. So we'll see some of these items finally start to come through as the mid laners do recall. And I'm... Actually, no, they don't. They've baited me. I was looking at Twyla's inventory. I was ready to see if we got a bit of progression on what he was going to build. Not today. But the next Drake Dagda, it's in a minute and a half. TT are the team that are trying to stack these up. But Weiwei right now is in control of this bottom half of the map.
Yeah, a nice invade here from Weiwei to just try and sneak this blue away. That's going to be pretty big when it comes towards Twyla, because especially if you're building Rocket Belt or even going towards the Everfrost, it looks like it will be the Rocket Belt. You don't get the access to the mana anymore, which was really nice for Nico. Now, with no blue buff as well, she's going to struggle to clear out these waves against Mole. So Mole now has been opened up to go for these rolls where he can shove in really effectively and get down to add again more pressure towards this bot side. And this seems to be V5's game plan, where it's okay, we're no longer looking towards these dragons, looking towards these objectives. We're looking to snowball this bottom side of the map and have Trigger be our big damage dealer when we get to these team fights.
I will say, fighting for dragons and snowballing your bot lane often go hand in hand. They are quite often the same thing, because if you win a fight in that bottom lane, you can usually transition it into a dragon if it's on the map at the time. 20 seconds though till this Infernal Drake comes up. You can see Twyla, Xiaopeng already on the scene, but Trigger wants a 1v1. He wants to take on Sam D. He wants to avenge Y4 from last game, but it's going to be ult for ult to start this one off. And now Dragon up in 8 seconds.
That's actually a win for TT though. Sam D's front to back is a little bit stronger right now because the CC that he provides, and Trigger not really being able to get through a lot of the health bars or threaten that back line. But if you get a nice trade from Mole here, may swing things back in favor of V5.
Twyla does have the corrupting potion though, so he's going to tick himself back up to health. V5 start the Drake off. TT were the first ones to get a Drake in this game, and they want to start to stack them. In they come for the contest. I think we've got a fight on our hands because Audi TPing into the bottom side of the map here. 1000 on the Drake. Here comes Xiaopeng to look for a smite. Will find it with a reckless swing, and now the Pop Blossom across the squad as well. Mole is trapped in the fight, can't go back to his other clone. PP God flashes out. Audi being chased down. V5 not looking so hot in this fight right now. Can they go for a dive here? TT not showing any signs of stopping. Is Trigger throwing out what damage he can. TT back away, but they get themselves the Drake.
And they can use the Rift Herald now on this bottom side as well. Get Sam D a little bit more gold into his pocket. Accelerate this Xayah. And a nice play from TT to get the Dragon. Go even on the kills, but win out in the gold.
Do you have to back away from the tower because Audi is... Oh, hang on. Mole has arrived on the scene. He's teleported behind them, and now Xiaopeng's in trouble. There's a teleport committed from the side of TT. Xiaopeng's already fallen down. Sam D's the target, but the damage is there from Twyla. Trigger flashing away behind the wall, but Sam D takes the kill in the end, and now Audi wants to answer, but the belly bop is blocked by Twyla, and somehow Sam D gets away with it. Weiwei cannot answer, and the Xayah will finally be taken down as Weiwei actually flashed for this play. The Slumber Slam comes on through onto 2. The knockup's in from PP God, and Teen is going to fall on this one. Double kill for Weiwei, and Twyla walks out.
What is with the fights in this series? You think they're over, and suddenly it's round 2, round 3. All these new contenders coming into these fights. V5 gets several kills back in their favor. However, when we look at that gold lead, it's still dead even for these teams. When we look at the Dragons, that's in favor of TT, and that bot lane turret is not long for this world. So TT still getting a huge amount of control. However, we get to see the replay here, and V5 trying to turn this play around. Nice TP from Mole onto that ward at the back. But from this point, it all goes a little bit ways where you don't have that damage as Trigger as we talked about, not having that ultimate available, not having that side lane threat. And for Audi, pretty sad. That belly bop not getting on towards Sam D, but at least Weiwei's able to finish it off and pick up a little bit more as PP God makes it back down towards his spot side.
Nicely done by Weiwei, and every single time this bot lane from TT tries to do anything, Weiwei is there just waiting for the opportunity. He has been bot so many times, and he's paying dividends. Look at his inventory. 4 1-1. He's now got a Dark Seal as well. He's already stacking that one up for himself. Honestly, this is an incredibly close game, and I'm here for it, Dagda. I want this kind of action.
And he's going for the full damage build as well. He's going towards that Liandry's Anguish, not going for any sort of Moonstone nonsense. He wants to be a carry here, so expect him to finish off that, then probably go towards something like the Banshee's Veil just to make sure that he can be fully invested into these fights. He doesn't have to worry about CC. He's got the Zhonya's for backup as well. And he can be a pretty big menace when it comes towards dealing with TT.
Wow, you call the Moonstone nonsense there. It's just like, look, this is the LPL. We don't care about your healing. We care about damage because we're fighting.
That's the thing. It's like, is it considered a damage item? No, I don't want to hear about it then. I don't care about your facts and your numbers. I care about the feeling, the raw gut feeling that I get when I build this item. And it says damage, but either way, V5 on this top side will get this second tower for themselves. So nice job at the moment to start to get some of these kills back in their favor, starting to turn the gold. At least they had, but certainly this Rift Herald will help give them a bit more into the bank.
There's a bit of pressure onto a bot lane tier 2 here from TT. The Herald was placed now in this top side. This is just going to be a trade across the map here by the looks of things for tier 2s. But Chalitza is there to answer. Can he defend this tier 2 is going to be the question. The tier 1 went down, obviously. I think Chalitza should be able to stop this push. I don't think there's any way that they can just force a dive, but I've been wrong before.
Yeah, look at the.
I mean, he is renekton. He could stall surely.
They're zoning off the members of TT, but looks like they won't have enough to try and solidify the turret, but they were trying to cut off TT from approaching that tower and nearly did so, but TT get bot lane tower. They're defending the mid lane turret, so again, TT are the ones that are trading up in these plays.
Nearly is the key word on that one, and TT managing to make a really solid macro play for themselves. They've already got 2 Drakes. Next one is in 25 seconds, and Dagda, you can already see players on both sides of the minimap making a beeline towards that Dragon Pit.
Look at the items, though. You've got mythics across the board here for TT, and that's going to be the main difference here, is just how strong they are off these one-on spikes that we talked about. The Gore Drinkers, the Rocket Belt. Whoever PP got, trying to get that Hex Flash, maybe looking for a pick, but you need to be very careful how you approach this fight as V5, because if Chalitza and Xiaopeng are in the front line getting a lot of damage off and healing heap, you're not going to be able to get through those drain tanks.
V5 with position right now. They're already in the river. Dragon has spawned, so V5 could turn on towards that. But TT, you know that they want to force this one. Quickness in, getting charms onto everybody. The knockup went onto Trigger. Can he survive the fight as he's being chased down by the Raging Viking? But Weiwei has damaged. Twyla stun onto nobody as Mole dashes back out of the fight. Audi low on HP as Weiwei escapes, but he's going to get dots across this whole team. Weiwei falls down. He doesn't quite have the damage. TT somehow pulling this one off. Double kill for the Xayah as Audi flashes out of the fight. And it is 4-for-1. TT destroy V5.
They absolutely wiped the floor with them. It was a messy start to that fight, but TT are able to come out. That's going to be the third dragon. That's going to be the mid lane tower. And TT may be looking at their first win in the LPL if they keep playing like this.
This is beautiful from TT. And if they needed any extra things in their basket right now, not only do they have Soul Point, but it's an Ocean Soul Point as well, if it could get any worse for V5.
Yeah, the start for this fight isn't exactly the way that V5 wanted. Not quite able to get onto his trigger as quickly as they would like, but they finish him off. And then, watch this. As this fight starts to go on, Sam D is zoning 3 members of V5 off as they deal with Weiwei. Flashes away as well, picks up the kill on the backside, add a second one as Mole dies as well. Like Sam D played that so well.
That ain't zoning. That's dueling 3 players on the side of V5 and winning as well. He managed to get 2 kills there. That is insane from Sam D. In the meantime, Weiwei nearly pulled the same thing off at the other side of the fight, but it was just a minuscule amount of damage away from finishing those kills. Maybe he should have gone Moonstone, huh? Because the damage wasn't enough.
I mean, yeah, maybe. I want to say, like, the props to TT in that fight, because one of my biggest, like, when we were prepping for this series yesterday, we were kind of laughing at TT's team fights, right? They were all over the place. There was nobody on the same page. The front line would attempt to engage, but not really get it off, and your back line would end up being flanked, and they'd all just die. It was very messy. TT in these fights are much more decisive and look much more cohesive as well.
Weiwei gets his recall denied there. Is TT position around this mid lane. Still got 3 minutes until that next strike, so I don't expect TT to be able to brute force anything right now, but 25 seconds on this Baron. Do you think there's a world where TT could just try and brute force something like this?
They have the damage. The bigger thing I'm worried about is just the wombo that V5 had if you try and force that. Between Audi, Mole, PP God, that's a lot of CC to deal with if you're all in the one pit.
Well, TT certainly positioning for that right now. Mole is kind of alone on the mini-map. He might be caught out here. He's sat in a brush. I don't know if TT... They don't know he's there. Maybe he's caught out. Maybe he's on a 5-head genius flank right now. SamD is the target. PP God would love to get over.
There's no rush here for TT. You can just play this slow. You've got your next dragon up in 2.5 minutes.
All right, no slow plays coming through here for his Dagda because we've got a Ragnarok from Xiaopeng. He's chased down by the entire squad of V5. Way over the wall, doesn't quite connect to Teen. That's the jungler down, though. V5, they're committing to this. They start the Baron off.
Yeah, they know Twilight in base as well. He has just TP'd in, though. Might be looking for a play here. But V5, they're trying to force this 4v5 fight.
PP God is on a ward. They know exactly where the Alistar is, but Chalitza has to use that ulti and try and force the engage. In they go. Twyla, Pop Blossom onto 2, and it starts off with 1 kill going down. Wei with the Zhonya's keeps himself alive as Trigger does finish off Chalitza. It's going to be 3 versus 4 for now. Small just trying to make his way out. Dodges away from the root. The sidesteps are nice. The shield is there, but he's stuck in the fray and taken down by Teen.
The entire time that teamfight was going on, SamD is just free hitting. And that's the problem there for V5. Nobody able to get on towards that back line. Huge amount invested on towards Chalitza. But this is where I want to talk about, like, TT. You don't need to try and force this Baron. You can just play this slow, continue your build-up, get SamD towards his items, but when you've just won that fight, it looks like TT want to force the Baron.
TT now get their opportunity to go for the Baron. Audi wants to contest. Wei's here as well. The TP being channeled by Chalitza, who needs to get in the fray ASAP. PP God trying to get onto the backline here. Stuns up. Baron is down to 2,000, but the fight is fierce. TT winning this one out as Audi's about to fall as well. The Baron goes down. So does Wei. Mole is too late to the party, but the combo is there. Can Trigger finish this one off? Ult into the backline. He doesn't have the damage, and TT win out the fight.
TT barely win that by the skin of their teeth, but look at the timer as well, Munch. 40 seconds until this Ocean Dragon. They've got the Baron. They've got a whole heap of gold that's just went into their pockets. TT are looking in prime position to take this game.
Xiaopeng just going to reset here because he knows Dragon is coming up in 20 seconds time. Chalitza going to shove out this top side. He needs to reset. He needs to get over towards this Dragon. This would be sole point for TT. Let's take another look at this absolute chaos.
And if Mole had been here at the get-go, this would have been death for TT. However, they're able to just play around this fight in the Baron pit, barely keep themselves alive, and the difference there was SamD's flash into the blade column, where if he hadn't, that would have been Mole on full health, coming out, gets a big Q through the team, and probably kills 90% of the health bars that are left for TT. But that one place
all right. There's the pick coming on through. Mole taken down before the fight even begins, and surely that's a win for TT. Look at them shred the health bars. V5 are sent packing. They are sent home because this is a dominant victory now for TT. PP God forced out of the play, taken down by the minions as Twyla gets kill credit. And they're not even looking for the Dragon right now. They're looking for the mid lane because, I mean, Xiaopeng certainly doesn't need any help.
SamD has been laughing at himself in this mid lane as, yeah, Xiaopeng can just solo it out. They're going to be able to crack open this base. They still have that Baron buff available as well, so these minions aren't going to die anytime soon. Now, might be a bit risky to go for the inhibitor as people are respawning, but looks like they should be able to just get out of here clean as you like.
Clean as a whistle for TT. And we are seeing a totally different TT today, and I am excited, Dagda. This is what we've been wanting, to see something out of these rookies.
Yeah, and this fight was brilliant. Team picking off Mole from the get-go. Twyla getting this massive ultimate onto the rest of the team as well. And how do you even, what do you do? Like, you're CC'd essentially for the entirety of this fight. You've got big hitters coming in and Xiaopeng, Chalitza, Sam D as well now with 2.5 items that are just tearing through your health bars. And you're sitting there and you just have to take it as V5.
Stuff from TT, and V5 doesn't feel like have an answer right now. Mole especially blind picked this Yone in the mid lane. He is 0-6 right now. And I said in the last game, when you think about Mole, you think of him as one of the upcoming playmaking mids in the LPL that's been making his name for the last 12 months. This is not the showing that V5 need from him. He has to be that stable player on this squad. That's how V5 find their wins.
I think he just got completely blindsided by this Neeko. Neeko has been the perfect pick for this composition because everyone on V5 is short range. Everyone needs to be jumping in towards the back line. And Twyla's just sitting there with an ultimate saying, come on, bring it. I'm going to be able to take all your damage. I'm going to lock you down and we can deal with you bit by bit. So honestly, I think V5, we're not expecting Twyla to suddenly be able to pull out something just so off the rails that fit perfectly for what TT needed to deal with.
Keeping my eyes on Trigger in this next fight as well, because if anyone can pull off a miracle when you look at the scoreboard for V5, Trigger has to be the guy. He's got the 3 items. Xiaopeng taking literally no damage from Mole. I was going to start play-by-play that. There was absolutely no kill threat whatsoever. Mole still hasn't finished his 2nd item yet. Like, they are so far behind. And PP God, he was looking for either a flank or some vision or something. I'm not sure what he was looking for. Maybe he was looking for a way out of this series because he's gone down and has blown this base wide open for TT.
And now TT, they can stream on in. You already had Twyla, who's pushing into this bottom side. He's going to TP back to that wave to keep up the pressure. And with no real engage from V5 available, with no flash on Gragas, they're just free to take the base.
Yep, this is going to be the top lane inhib taken. Mid already down towards the bottom side of the map. The minion wave has been cleared by Mole. So they won't be able to take 3 inhibs for now, unless they just want to dive this tower. Mole goes for the all-in, goes for the 1v1 on Twyla. But again, he just doesn't have any damage. The rest of the team is just waiting for him to pop back to that shadow. And now onto the rest of the squad. Way into the Zhonya. Same for Chalitza, who's quite happy to tank up the tower for now. V5 surviving, though. Nobody falling just yet. As TT now get an opportunity to get onto this tower. Featherstorm comes on through. Blade Caller through the squad. Trigger goes down. And TT finally find the casualties they were looking for. They finally find a way to send V5 packing back to the base. Mole being chased down by the Ragnarok. As this Viking charges forward, Wei wants to answer, but they're just buying time for the rest of the squad. Chalitza is recalling. He has that teleport available, and in the super minions come from the mid lane right here. They don't want the bot inhib. They want the game. Charging on in. First Nexus tower starting to go down here. I think they're going to be able to close this one out as they start to munch through the health bars. V5, they want to contest, but they don't have anything. The root comes through onto Mole, and that will seal the deal. TT are going to go 2-0 over V5. A well-deserved bit of stat padding as they get kills onto the fountain, and they take themselves a 2-0 victory.
And finally, TT get onto the board. What a beautiful performance from this team. A draft that was set up so well to deal with what V5 were trying to do. The execution from Xiaopeng in the early game once more getting his lanes into the lead. And Sam D being a monster in these team fights.
Get this Sam D Zaya every single game, please, TT, because that was something to watch right there. That was beautiful. Also, we got to see this Neeko in the mid lane looking magnificent, so impactful in every single one of these team fights. And to be honest, if you took off the nameplates and you'd showed me this before I'd seen it today, I would have told you that it was V5 that were winning. I would have told you this was the wrong way around on the scoreboard, because TT, they look like a dramatically different team to what we've seen from them in recent games.
And it felt much